Assalamu alaikum, Aguan, Wanakkam. I've been out for a long time and doing a video after quite some time now. Today, it's a different setup altogether. I have with me one of my closest family members. I consider my brother. And basically, it's going to be an experience which we went through. And one of the reasons why I couldn't also post up, or I've been a little silent in the last few months, which we are going to share with the hopes of people can take some tips off of this and maybe some learning points. So to start off, let me just pass it on to Inam, my brother, to kick off this session. Inam, over to you.
Thanks, Mazi. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, Ayubowan and Wanakkam, according to Rimaz Marzouk's words. Yep. So I think, firstly, I pray none of us have to go through something like that, or any of us have to go through an experience similar to what we went through. But then again, life happens and then we have to move on with that. So as Rimaz highlighted, it's very odd for me to say Rimaz, highlighted, let me share with you what happened a few months ago on a Thursday, and then how things went on after that. So from my side of the story, it was a situation where I was transitioning from, I was in a job transition. So I was having a 2 weeks off, and it was a Thursday. So I'm somebody who generally speaks to my brother. We have calls, and then we are in contact on WhatsApp. But then it's very rare that I get a call from him somewhere around 9:30, 10 during a day. So that night I got a call somewhere around 9:30, 10, and I was trying to figure out why is he calling me at this time? It's not usual. I answered my phone, and I can see my wife reacting for my facial expressions, because all I heard was, someone's not well, can you come? And then I knew that he didn't have his car that day, so I knew that I had to go. So the next thing I knew was I was driving my way to his house. I got 2 calls in between while I was trying to drive. I mean, the drive is maximum about a 10 minutes of a distance. But then I got there, he got into the driving seat, and we just, the car just, I think, almost flew towards the hospital. On a side note, I haven't seen that Rimaz Marzouk in, I would say, 15 to 17 years. 15, 17 years ago, if I were to drive with him and if he was driving, I would say, yeah, okay, this is my brother. But then, it's like me reliving that time on that day. But then this was for a different purpose. Earlier it was for fun, but then this was a more serious situation. So we went into the hospital. They went in. Again, from my side of the story, I was outside. I was in the car. I was trying to figure out what just happened, because everything just happened real quick. I got the call, got dressed, went to Mazi's house, got into the car. We were at the hospital, and then I was now out waiting for them to come out. So I was thinking to myself, what did I do? I mean, I have kids too, and it's COVID, and we were on the lockdown. It was somewhere around 10:30, 11 o'clock at that time. So we were having the curfew, and I don't think I should be sharing how many traffic lights we sort of missed out, or even in front of the cops. I think even they understood that we were at an emergency, so they let us go. So I was trying to figure out, what just happened? But then I thought, why am I thinking? If this happened again, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that again. And if it happens to me, I'm pretty sure my brother is going to be there for me as well. So having said that, what happened next? Mazi came back and he had to go home. So he took the car, he dropped me home. I went in straight into a room, and I was self-quarantining myself for 5 days, because I may have been exposed to somebody with COVID. So not something I wanted, but then, uh, you know, just to be in the safe side, we thought it's better if we quarantine ourselves. And for me, it was a positive experience because 5 days inside a room, um, I mean, just you, it 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 gets you to think. It takes you through a big journey, like because yeah, you can speak to somebody over the phone, but then not always, because they have their day. Whatever they are doing during the day, they have to do that. So you don't get much time from that end. So it's you basically. And it was a good experience, Mazi, and I don't really regret whatever happened, because it gave me the chance to look back and reflect at my life as well. And if it happens again, you have me, so don't worry about that. And I'm pretty sure you're there for me too. So to the audience, that was basically my side of the story on that day. And then things happened. Mazi got busy, and here we are again, just trying to share our experience so that you could take home something from that. Yeah, you're on mute, Mazi.
Yeah, thanks, Inam. Thanks, bro. Just listening to that, my hair is standing straight. I'm just reliving the whole thing. Subhanallah, it's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. So let me relate what happened from my side, also to give some perspective for this. I mean, just imagine this is August, and the date is August 19th, and this time we all know was peak COVID. The death rates were absolutely high. Everybody was in a fear and panic mode. Hospitals were basically full. There was no room for hospitals to take in patients. Quarantine procedures were extremely stringent. So it was basically, the country was basically at a, I mean, in terms of risk side, COVID had really taken grasp of the entire situation. And also, as for a background, I had just taken a PCR test the day before, and I was waiting for my PCR result on the 20th. And this was the 19th night. So I was not well slightly. We had quarantined at home. So I was downstairs and my family was up. So basically, it was a normal day on the 19th till night time, and the usual procedures which we had. It was a normal thing. And then 9:30, we got in, relaxed up, and others, family went to bed. And this emergency, it was one of my family members who fell ill. And what happened was basically around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Between that time is where there was this particular emergency. And at that emergency, it required to immediately go to a closest hospital. We were never prepared for something like this. On that day, I had quarantined down. I had buffered up a kind of a movie I wanted to watch, and I was just getting into it. I was listening, and suddenly I hear the emergency call upstairs, and we went in, and then we had to attend to this particular matter. Which I'm not going to mention in terms of for sake of privacy, but still. And at that time, I didn't have the vehicle. I've just sold my car as well, so I didn't have the vehicle, and I went crazy at that. I lost it. Usually, I tell my wife also, I can handle any situation in terms of any emergency, anything outward, anything happening. It's cool. Like I'm there to handle it. But when it comes to within the family, especially when it involves my direct family members, it becomes extra tough for me. And then at that time, I lost my cool. So I was not in the right state of mind. So I first jumped into a bike initially to first quickly see whether we can get a vehicle or something organized. And then I just jumped in because I knew I didn't have anybody around immediately. And I went out, but I couldn't find anything. And that would have taken a couple of minutes. And the next thing that came into my mind was, okay, forget it. Inam is there. I need to call him because he's the closest way he can come in to help out. And then I just shot out a call to Inam. Inam just picked, Alhamdulillah, first he picked up saying, and I know why he picked, because we generally don't call at that time, like he said. And when he picked up, I said, And I'm sure he knew my voice. I was like, Inam, emergency, so-and-so, I have an issue. I need you here now. He said, Mazi, I'll be there. That's it. And I knew he was on his way. And then I called him twice again to see where you are. He was here, and those few minutes were absolutely crazy. But still, the car came in, and I knew at that time we have to go to the closest hospital. So Inam just came, doors open, we got in there, and I said, I will drive. Because at that time, for some reason, something told me, Alhamdulillah, that no matter what, when I take behind the wheel, I know what I'm doing. And I knew I need to get there as fast as possible. So I said, just give me the keys. And I got in, Inam got in front with me. And he knew I am also PCR, waiting for the PCR tests. So he was kind of at risk and exposed. So my family member was at the back, and then we took off. The journey was crazy, but I was pretty focused. I knew I needed to get there. I just said, give me the route. We were going all out. There were times where, yes, I crossed up the color lights. I knew the cops were there, but I just didn't care. I just knew, okay, we're just going to go.
They were just looking at us.
Yes, and I was at one point on my corner of my eye, I can see Inam in the seat, but he's halfway in front of the seat, and he's halfway turned this way, and he's looking at me, and I can see it in the corner of my eye, and he's like, Mazi. So my nickname goes as Mazi, and my loved ones call me Mazi. So Mazi comes. So then at one point I said, Inam, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Calm down. I'm okay. I'm focused. Because on the other side, I was completely on the road and focused where I needed to get to the hospital. Alhamdulillah, that was fine. So we went to the hospital, and then thank God, Inam he always has a good head on his shoulders. And that's what I respect him for. He's awesome in that way. He thinks that he's always tensed and he's thinking so much, but then he has a very good, strong head. Inam, I love you for that, and I appreciate you for that. He quickly thought, and he said, Mazi, keep the car. You'll need to go about, so keep the car. You can go and drop me off once things finish off, but then you need to sort things out. That's cool. So what happened was, Alhamdulillah, we had to stay over that night at the hospital. So that was first set up and sorted out. And then at that time, all hospitals were taking the PCR tests. So the PCR test was taken, initially the rapid antigen test. And then I went back home and I dropped Inam home, and I went back to my place. So that night settled down in that way. For me, follow up after that, the next day, where now my family members have to come back home, but then they had to go through the PCR, and then they went through the PCR. Two of my family members were in the hospital. And when they did the PCR, one came out positive, and the other one came out negative. And now that was a big concern. So now my head was rambling, because at that time, when you are COVID positive, my family is now split. I am at home. I am under quarantine. My family is now locked down at home here because we have set up things here. Two of my other family members are in the hospital. The mental stress and what we were going through was absolutely crazy. And this is because it was the peak time. But thank God, managed to talk to the doctors. I think the doctor understood. And then anyways, the hospitals were full. But everything worked out well, and we managed to get my family members back at home, and then we self-quarantined at home. And then things kind of settled down. And after that, we set ourselves properly. We set up everything at home properly. And then all thanks to Almighty, things worked out.
Yeah.
But within that period, that particular 24 hours or 48 hours, Inam, you being there for me, and how events rolled out, okay, maybe it rolled out, it could have been in multiple forms, but you being there for me, bro, and then you taking those decisions, and then me taking those particular calls. It was one crazy roller coaster ride. I mean,
pretty sure it would have happened the other way as well, Mazi. So pretty sure it would have happened the other way as well. So definitely, I think based on that, I mean, something that I learned is that it's very important, this relationship we are having. I mean, especially our family members, our cousins. I mean, end of the day, I mean, whatever happens, you need to be, I mean, they are the ones who are going to be there for you. So
Absolutely.
that's something really important. And you know,
Absolutely.
I mean, it was just another day for me as well. It was just another day for you. And I mean, none of us expected this to happen, but then, I mean, everything's going perfect. Then suddenly, look here, there's an exception. So I think we really need to get that, register that to ourselves and understand, you know, I mean, we can plan a lot of things, but then there can be, you know, there is always somebody out there. I mean,
Oh,
I mean, we believe it to be almighty. Some believe it to be karma, you know, nature. I mean, there is something that actually has a bigger plan for us. And when that takes
absolutely.
place, we should be able to, you know, run with that
Spot
as
on.
well.
Spot on. Yeah, like spot on, like what you said. I would say life for anybody can be a king to a beggar. I mean, you have your normal routine, we have our routines, and then we get into the rat race of life also, whatever the way we live our lives. But something I can exactly what you said, any in terms of something, in terms of an emergency or something happening to you, we cannot predict the future. No way, we cannot. And there can be things that happen which we never ever expected. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I think like I said, the main learning would be that be prepared that things might be nice, hunky dory and super, but then the next minute there can be something which will
Yeah.
completely get you off balance. I suppose, like what you said, I think the basic thing we have to do is kind of first expect things to go wrong at times. Be prepared for it. Sometimes we don't want to think about it. We want to say, no, everything is going to be okay, nothing's going to go wrong. But rather, we need to be prepared if there is an emergency. And what could I kind of do? Being prepared itself, my God, I think that helps it so much more, so much more. And I feel with that, like the point you made, having somebody you can reach to, it can be a close family member, a friend, or somebody where you can reach out to at that particular time. I think it's very important you have that, and maybe like even have that conversation with this person, saying, okay, at a time like this is what we might do,
Mhm.
and have that kind of
Yeah.
a plan. And the crucial point you got in where, I mean, there are sometimes family members where we are not very close with, we have severe ties. I mean, for petty things, sometimes, I mean, not going for a dinner or a lunch like that, and then we have found fault and not talking for weeks,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Years and
But
weeks.
come
I
on,
mean,
I mean, end of the day, they are the ones who are there for us. They are the
exactly.
ones who will be willing to put that extra, I mean, put aside all this nonsense and come to help, like what you did in them. And for that, I mean, I think it's well worth it that whatever ties we have severed now, or these small petition, we put it behind. Wait, all of us are imperfect. I mean, all of us, we can be irritable at
Yep.
multiple ways.
I mean,
In our own ways, we are all, yeah.
people are different. That's how people are.
Absolutely.
And then
Exactly. We
that's
expect, I mean,
exactly.
go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Mazi. Sorry.
No, no, like you said, so what do you call it? We accept it. We accept them for whatever they are. And then we look at the good things and have that relationship, mend that relationship. I think that's a very strong point, and have that kind of bond.
Yeah, Mazi. I mean, if at all, I mean, if you're watching this, one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation and share it with you is, I mean, let's say you have your siblings, your cousins, as Mazi explained. I mean, it's not always perfect. The relationships are not always perfect, but then, I mean, that's how relationships goes, right? So, if at all you would
It's
like to,
messy.
yeah. I mean, it's not a Facebook post, you know, for it to be perfect. It's life.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you can use this video, probably to, you know, start a conversation with, you know, one of your siblings or one of your cousins, your friends, somebody who has been really close to you, someone who have been relying a lot, or rather someone who's very close to you, and you are now not in good terms with them. just share this link with them. And then, okay, we will put it out for you. I mean, that person, if that person happens to go through this recording, and if that person believes that he's or she is somebody who would be there for you at an emergency or at any situations, regardless of, whatever the, um, you know, uh, whatever the
Personal
situation
issues
that,
or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
you are in with the other person, then that person will definitely send you back a thumbs up. So if you have that
Absolutely.
understanding, that's more than enough. I think
Absolutely.
that'll be a start for you to probably even strengthen up that relationship and build things back together as well. So that's one reason why we came together, right, Mazi?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Yes.
this video. Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Inam, thanks again, and definitely, God willing, I mean, we don't wish this to for anybody in terms of these
Sure.
kind of emergencies happening, but keep open to it. And bro, thank you so much for being there for me, and inshallah, I'm always there for you.
Thank you very much, Mazi, and all the best with all the future videos as
Thanks,
well. I
bro.
mean, it has been a long pause. You need to continue.
Yes, 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 yes. We take it from here.
Okay. Thank you very
All right,
much.
now. Yeah.